Welcome to Jags Chat Lounge, and today we'll be talking about people who have been divorced, separated, and also single parents as well. And I'd like to welcome our guests on today's show. We have Onks, who is an interior designer. We have Raminta, who is a nurse, and also Sonu, who is also a radiographer. So thank you so much for coming on today's show discussing this topic. So let's talk about like yourselves. Obviously you've been married, divorced, and also single parents. Would any of you like to share your story about like how it was for yourselves, the divorce, what happened, or how it went about yours? Should we start with you, Ons?
Yeah, because you're the one man here.
Let's start with yourself. So how long were you married for then?
Approximately 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah.
And was it a love marriage?
It was arranged, and I think like any of us our age, our parents had chosen the partners, put you together, and you sort of trundle on through it, and it was all good. But then I think as you get older, you sort of grow apart and you realise who you are and what you want. So yeah, that's a story there.
Okay, and what about yourself, Sonu?
Exactly the same thing, because I was in India, so the guy from here came to India to get, to find somebody from there. So I was the one to be chosen by my parents and his family as well. So we got married, and I came over straight away after maybe 3 months or three, something like that. So it was okay to start off, but things were upside down. Our boundaries didn't match. There was quite a lot of differences between us, because it's not the cultural differences, it was nothing, it was two people who were not similar in any kind of perspective. So, but I still I really stretched this marriage to 15-17 years, exactly like Vidong said. So, and then when we grew up, and then we realized, actually when I grew up and I thought, oh, this is not the right thing, I'm not doing justice to myself, and not even to this person who I'm married for so many long, and we are still like strangers to each other. So I have to draw the line and move on as well. But
so how old were you when you had this arranged marriage?
24, so
24 years old. And were you given a choice that that would you like to marry, or was it like here's the guy that you've met and you've got to? Okay, was that with yourself as well, Alex?
Yeah, sure.
So there was no choice given, or
it was sort of like you didn't really have a choice in those days. It was you was sort of
you introduced and that's
compatible, as in like occupations, etc., families. So yeah.
It's happened here.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And obviously, like with yourself, Raminta, I suppose it's very different.
Oh yes,
with
it's
you.
completely different.
Go, if
story,
you'd like to just explain yours.
I am from Lithuania originally, and it was love marriage, let's say.
Okay.
Yes. But I was married only 4 years, and I divorced straight away because my husband had some, I think, I'm not a psychologist, but he had some problems. He was very aggressive in some moments, and I just didn't have choice. Of course, I was thinking long time, and I tried to save in some ways, but when my family found what situation is, I tried to hide all that facts before from my family, but when they found, because I ended up in hospital one night, and of course I didn't have choice. I had to divorce.
So as you said that it was a love marriage for yourself. So were you living with him before you both got married?
We knew each other 6 months only.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
it was not long relationship, and I didn't know a lot about him. I was 24, and we just decided to marry, and I knew before that I was second wife for him.
Okay.
And only later I found from his wife that he was aggressive with her as well. And she said, I wanted to talk to you before marriage, but I decided not to do it just in case you will think, oh, maybe I'm jealous. Exactly. And but of course, I had to end up with all that story, because it could be thus I wouldn't be sitting here probably now.
So, I mean, so regarding the divorce itself, was it an easy process for yourselves, or was it something where, I mean, was it a mutual decision between both of you, or was it that, you know, you just had enough and you just wanted to just get out of the relationship? I mean, Sonu, we'll start off with yourself.
It wasn't an easy decision, to be honest, because that was my decision. And he don't want to do anything because he was not well established. Even me coming from India, I went to university here, got this videography degree and everything. I studied here, and what I'm up today is my own hard work. And this guy has never been to even school, not even nobody in their family. So even when I was back home in India, I was doing my degree and everything. So I got established. I bought the house and I did everything. For him, it was just like a comfort zone to be with me.
Yeah.
Everything
He
was
getting all the
provided.
lectures in, yes,
Exactly.
it was all
So it was his responsibility to provide me everything, but it was going other way around. A girl from India has come, she bought the house, and you're living with her, because only you are a husband, and she's earning the bread and butter of the house, and you're just sitting there and chilling. He did work. I'm not going to say he's a nice man as well. It's not that he's completely a thing, but our mentality never matched with each other. So because I stayed with him because my family values were very strong, and I wanted to see if things can go better in life. But his idea of our life was completely different. He was into wrong kind of company, going with people who used to do different, I don't want to say things that, but it wasn't nothing that he. A gentleman would do things in a way when he got a family. And we had a son as well, only because of my son. I thought, okay, I had my parents, I grew up in a family where everything was provided, so I don't want my son to have a broken family. So for the sake of my son, and when my son started realizing that this is not the right thing is happening to my mom and to him as well, all those abuse and everything, he was the one who just encouraged me as well, and he said, yeah, Mom, that's a good decision.
So it was your son who actually recognised exactly what was happening, and he spoke to yourself, which is really nice, because sometimes it can, I mean, this is the other thing about divorce as well, it affects the kids as well, doesn't it, quite a lot. And like with yourself, Raminta, do you have,
My son was 3 years old when I divorced. I think it's best time to do when they are little or when they adults already. Yes, it was difficult divorce as well, because he didn't want to divorce. It was 3 years process. He tried to stop it. He just didn't come to court many times, and it was on and on and on, and without him, of course, we couldn't proceed anything. But finally we came, I even can't remember now, we came to conclusion, he said, yes, I'll give you divorce if you leave me flat.
So
it was, exchange divorce, let's say.
It was just give and take kind of situation.
I said, whatever, I give you everything, just give me divorce. Yes, and I couldn't meet him actually for a few years. I didn't meet him. I just couldn't do it psychologically. Yes, after all what happened, and but later we had a few issues with son. Not issues, but I needed his help. Just paperwork, and
that was that to have the legal rights of your son to stay with you.
Yes, son was with me, but he could see him as many times as he wanted, but he never showed any intentions to do that, unfortunately. And my son even don't remember him now.
Oh, really?
I showed him pictures once. I wanted to start that conversation because his father. And he looked at that, but no emotions, nothing at all.
You don't know, for him it's just a stranger.
He doesn't remember him at all, and plus of course his father in Lithuania, we are here, but I always said, if you want to communicate to your father, please do. He's not commenting anything, he's not talking about it. I don't think that he feels bad inside because of that situation, because now he grew up and of course he knows that story, what happened exactly. And
so he's actually like comfortable. I mean, you've given him the choice anyway.
Yes,
that he can.
Yes.
have contact with his father, but I suppose in
He
a way it's for him.
doesn't,
It's just
no, and I'm not forcing him. And
Oh,
I
of
say
course.
no, father has already another family. I say no, but it's just, he doesn't show any interest.
What about yourself then,
My-
Ox? As I think from a male point, I mean,
okay.
how was it for yourself? I mean, was it mutual or was
it was fairly mutual, and it was a godsend. We never got the children involved, so there was no court issues or anything at all regarding the kids. The kids actually had their own choice whether they want to live with their mom, with me, and it's always been an open door policy with myself and their mom, which has been really good, because when you're sort of almost living in a household and the kids can see bickering, tension, etc., it's far worse for them than to see calm and love within a household. So I think by giving them an open door policy, I saw a change in the girls as well. So that was pretty good.
More relaxed.
Yeah. And you become more sort of happier within yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything just starts to flow again. But I think the more you try to resist it, and the harder it gets. And I think as solicitors as well, when you sort of get advice off them, and they'll say, oh no, you can do this and that, and I think looking back in hindsight, I think they can cause half of the issues, but really, if it can be done mutually and amicably, it's pretty good, yeah, and especially when you've outgrown each other. So yeah.
So I mean, obviously, like with Sonu and Raminta, you've got your sons with yourselves and aunts with yourself. Are your daughters with the mother or yourself?
Both. They it's an open door policy between their mom. Yeah. And so they'll spend weekends at mine or throughout the week at mine, with the mom. So it's enjoying the best of both. Yeah.
That's good. Did any of like your kids ever talk about, obviously, like say like what happened? Did they ask you questions?
No, because I never stopped my son going to see, and he's an adult now, and he can make his own right decisions, and he go and see his grands and everything, his parents, his dad's side and everything. So he's very comfortable. I think we both are more happier being the way we are now, the way we were
together
before. Yeah, when we were together.
Okay.
And he's very focused. He's very very, very clear about things, very determined whatever he wants to do. Before, when we used to have arguments in front of him, it was affecting him as well.
Of course, yeah.
But now he's more relaxed and more happy. And I think we both are the most happiest people on the planet at the moment.
That's really nice. And obviously, like with yourself, you said your son
I
was 3
couldn't
years old.
imagine my life now with my husband if he would continue to be in that stage where we left, and I couldn't imagine if my son would see all that, all that
It's not very good
fights, let's say. It wouldn't be a good example for him. I think I saved him. But as you say, open doors. If he wants to see him, please. I haven't seen him for 20 years, and I can help him to find him if he really wants to see. But at the moment, he doesn't want. Maybe one day.
Yeah. And I think it's really nice that sometimes there are divorces which are quite bad, where they say, no, I don't want to see your mother, or I don't want to see your
They
father,
very dirty,
because of the conflict that you've had between yourselves within that relationship. Then obviously that's when the children or the kids are kind of like in a situation themselves, isn't it? And it's just really nice to hear the fact that
moreover, kids, they need both. They love parents both. It's not just one thing. And parents play a very mutual good role in their upbringing.
Of course. And you were just gonna...
I think the dangers come when the parents try to use the children as a reward and a blackmail form of us saying, well, we're going to use this child. That's
like
where it becomes really horrible, and you hear some of the cases and I just look
It's
at
like
that.
playing
and
mind
hear that.
games, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Mind
Really, like
games.
with
My
kids,
way
and
or-
it's
yeah.
it's
Poisoning the children's
Yeah.
minds. It's not good.
I
It's
know
not
what
good.
you mean because I'm from divorced family as well, and my both parents divorced when I was 14 years old. And situation was they had to live in one house for a long time because it's different country, different laws, and won't go so deeply. And I saw all that fights between them, I mean verbal fights. It was something, and you little kid, you don't know where to run,
Yeah,
to
where to
your
hide.
father or to your mother, and you always in that stress.
Yeah.
And even now, they come into me. They are, my father 76, mother 72. They still can't get on together. But I said, listen, I can't stand all that anymore.
Yeah.
I am adult, you are as well. And you're both my parents. And I want to see you both. Can you be, please, that 7 days in my house, quiet?
Well, this is
And
really
this is
silly.
will be for all
This is
life. I
interesting.
think it will be on and on and on. And it's just something. They just can't get like two fires.
even now it's just like
Even now, after so many years.
Yes, yes.
But I'm glad that I didn't go to one side or another side.
Yeah.
I'm with mother or with my father.
yeah.
They all, I love them both. And I said, whatever is between you, I don't want to know about it. You are my parents.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing as well. It's you think about the kids, but what effect did it have? Like with yourselves on your families. You know, like your parents, your siblings, and you know, because you're in this marriage for say 16, 17 years. So that's a long
Shock.
time, really. So it's especially for parents, especially the parents who have probably arranged this marriage
Yeah.
for you. So how was it for yourself?
A lot of it is when you cover up the cracks, and then eventually the cracks do start to show. Friends and family are usually like, wow, we wasn't aware that was going on or happening, and that's how you felt, etc. But I think a lot of it is you do mask it over for the sake of families. And you do think about your parents, the other side, etc., mutual friends. So it is quite tough, and it is a tough decision and a tough call. But I think once you realise who you are and what you actually want, and you actually look at the whole picture and think, well, actually, will it be happier? And looking back in hindsight now, sort of 7 years on, I think it was the best call, yeah. So as of happiness, moving forwards, my children now are my best mates.
Yeah, same here. Me
and they absolutely love their mom.
Yeah.
Absolutely love me. So and it's great to see them flourish rather than be somewhere where they're just constantly in a battle, and it's hard for them to speak to their mom or speak to me because you're at loggerheads. But I think generally it's
better.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, a lot like I say now, looking back, and they're your best mates, and you can laugh and joke and talk about anything.
It's a good feeling.
It's
then,
good.
isn't it?
It's good.
What about like with yourself, Son? How was it like for your parents? Like when they found out that you wanted to like divorce this guy? Or
I
like
mean,
your husband?
I told my family as soon as I came here after I got married that this is the situation, and they were like trying to persuade me. Okay, no, try to build up because maybe your values are different. You guys are born and brought up in different cultures, different country. So give yourself a time. And I say, okay, fine. And then I had a son, and then my parents knew, my family knew about it. And whenever he used to go to India, he never used to be very friendly and very family-oriented kind of person with my family. So they knew that something is not right there. And when I told my parents, they didn't approve it to start up. They goes, no, leave it, because I
Did they
think
tell you to just give it another go?
Yeah,
because in the end it's your
always.
husband
And then because I think unfortunately I'm the only person in my whole entire family who's in this situation that I'm separated or whatever you want to say. Nobody else is in my family, not even a single person.
Did you feel pressure? Well, not pressurized. Did you feel kind of guilty in any way, or
No.
quite bad in any way?
Absolutely no, because this is my decision, my life, and want to make it better for yourself, because I believe if you're not happy inside, you will not be happy outside, and you won't be make others people happy as well.
Of course. And I suppose it has an effect on the kids in that sense as well,
Absolutely,
because
yeah.
if you don't feel right within yourself, or you don't feel
Yeah.
happy within
That's
yourself,
right.
then obviously kids do pick up on things
yeah,
as well,
it's
and
very
they
painful
will
situation.
feel awkward, won't
Yeah,
they?
it's very, very painful
Yeah.
to go through that process in life as well, because when you marry somebody, you don't know whether this marriage will last 10 years, 5 years, or even months.
Of course.
But you come with the open perspective. Okay, this is my life. Okay, we two people getting together. Hopefully, we'll have a good life ahead. If that doesn't happen, it shatters you. It hurts you at some point, because you have shared that emotion for longer. That's it really. But in the end, it's all for good. You agree?
Yes, I am agree. Yes.
I think you both will agree.
I suppose like with all of you, I mean, being divorced, single parents, then obviously you've kind of like come out of that situation, it's all been settled. Are you now friends? Obviously I can tell that. Do you talk to your ex? Are you like friends now as well, or
Yeah, we're
is it
a really
better for yourselves?
amicable, and it's regarding the kids, and whenever one of them need picking up, dropping off, etc. Yeah, it's
So you're still
amicable.
communicating,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just-
There's no animosity there. So I think it's better. Yeah.
What about yourself? Are you still in contact with your?
Not much, not really, to be honest, because I do know what's happening with him, because of
Okay.
my son
Family.
tells me.
Yeah.
And if there is some unpleasant situations, and if today as well, if he will need my help or anything, I'll stand
still
by
be
his side.
there.
Yeah, definitely, because yeah.
What about
definitely.
yourself, Raminta?
No,
No,
I
not at
haven't
all,
met
that's it.
him for 20 years. I don't know. I only know a few details, but no, because it's different country. He's still in Lithuania. I am
Oh,
here.
right,
One reason, and another reason. Now we break up in not
Not
in
good
good
terms.
way.
Good
Yes,
way, yeah.
and
So
it's
that's
better
it.
not to see. And but
Yeah.
as I said, if my son wants to see him, I always
Let him.
let him do
That's
it.
good.
It's really good. And obviously, with that, then you've probably like settled within yourselves, within your work, and you know your kids have grown up and all great. And then you're thinking, hold on, am I ready to get into another relationship? So, I mean, many people turn around and say I've spoken to and who are divorced and they're single parents, they've actually said that it's been difficult for them, for some of them, not all of them, to actually get back into a relationship. Only not because it's like they would ever compare or anything, it's just that they're probably not ready at the moment, or they just feel more content the way they are. You know, they feel comfortable in their occupation, their work, or like with their life at the moment. I mean, how's it been for like yourselves? Do you want me to start with yourself?
Sure.
Obviously?
I mean, once your sort of lifestyle changes, and then you're trying to mould yourself back into who you are, what you are, and also the whole dynamics of your working environment starts to change, your priorities over your children, and that, whereas before it was sort of really you had somebody else there to depend upon. Right now you're a single parent, so I think once your emphasis shifts onto your priorities, then you do need to look at a relationship, but to think I really need to look at the logistics of it, as in where I'm heading.
And what about with yourself, Sonu?
Me, if there is any Mr. Right out there for me, I will go for him.
So if there's any Mr. Right out there for sort of, you know.
Yeah,
then-
why not?
What about yourself, Raminta?
Yes, as you said, if it's Mr. Right here, yes, why not? But I don't do anything purposely, you know.
Yeah.
If somebody will jump from around the corner, yes.
Would you all consider probably getting married again, or would it just be
Or
like?
I
just
don't think so.
No,
I
not
don't
yourself.
think so. Marriage now. I probably would like friend, like more friend when unless it's 100%
Yeah.
me. Yes, but I wouldn't go
You wouldn't
to
go down the
marriage
road.
straight away like I
Yeah.
did practically first time.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know either.
Would you ever remarry again?
I don't
Or
know,
Would
depends.
it just be just
Depends
living
what
together
kind of
or-
person I meet in my life, and what his situation is. I don't know, because now I have a choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't got that
Yeah.
burden. Now it's me to decide rather than my parents or my family to decide. And if
Yeah.
he's the right guy and he wants to take a relationship to a commitment relationship, yeah, I will consider it.
Okay, and
Why
yourself?
not?
Alex? No?
No, it's fine.
No? Okay, that's fine. All right then. So, is there anything else you'd like to? I mean, it's just nice to hear, like, obviously, like you shared all your stories and
Yeah.
how it's been like for yourselves as individuals, and obviously as like a couple as well, and obviously with the kids. As we always say, that it does always have a knock-on effect on like everyone who you're
Yeah.
involved in, like your family, your kids, even friends as well. And as you said, as you mentioned, like mutual friends as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Gets
okay,
different.
well, she was, or he was her friend, or she was his friend, or something like that. And you think, well, I've only like got to know them through like your
Yeah.
partners, but then it's like, do you still stay in contact with them, or is it just like you just forget everything, it's over and done with?
I think it's certain friends, and depends upon where their sort of loyalties lie, and how you got to know them. So certain friendships do change depending upon which way that they fall on the fence. Yeah.
Okay. So, if there was a message that you'd like to give to anyone who's probably in a similar situation, and interesting of like from a male point,
Yeah.
because it's not just the females who obviously suffer and everything and
Yeah.
go through stress and all that as well. Obviously the men do as well. It's equally the same, because I know like the divorce process isn't always that easy, is it?
No, it's not.
Unless like it's a mutual decision. So what would you like to say to anyone who's watching this?
I'd just like to say, well, just weigh up everything, and if it's not as bad as you think it is, then obviously stick it out and work on it. Definitely work on it before you make that harsh decision, because it affects a lot. But if you really feel as though that it's affecting your mental health, it's affecting your emotions, and affecting the way you are, then it's really your call, and it's only yourself within yourself that will ever know what the right call is. Yeah.
Thank you. What about yourself, Raminta?
Yes, I absolutely agree. I think we all deserve to be happy.
Of course, yeah. And yourself, Sonu?
Exactly same thing. I agree with both of you. Yeah. If you're anybody's in the same situation, make that right decision for yourself now, because you wake up
never
every
can
day, you
regret.
live every day, and you die just once, and your life is every day, every day, every day. So you can't live a dead life or an unhappy life every day. Why not?
Wow. Well, I'd just like to say, do you know what, it's been absolutely fantastic
Thank
having you
you.
all on this show, and you've obviously become very strong individuals from all this, and I can tell, the love and the relationship that you've also got with your kids as well, and it's just so nice. And I wish for those, who are not in a relationship at the moment, all the very best of luck, ladies. and yourself. So, but thank you so much. And as our guests have actually mentioned, you have to think about everyone, but most of all, think about yourself. Think of your happiness as well, and think before you actually decide. So don't go straight into it. Just leave it a little longer and see how it goes. But thank you so much. So until next time, just carry on watching Jags Chat Lounge. So as we say, real stories, real life, real talk.